Well, the phone just turned to 10:30 a.m., so welcome to the meeting this morning. I'll call the meeting to order, and let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. Joanne, do you want to start on your end?
Okay, I'm Joan Sasala, and I represent the Independence area, and I'm really glad to be here today. I'm retired, and I'm enjoying every minute of doing volunteer work.
Rebecca Wick, I am the admin for the ADRC.
Jeannie Nutter, County Board Supervisor and rep from DHSS, is that what we are? Department of Health and DHHS?
Yes.
Whatever. I represent the 15th district, which is Strum and a little bit of Osseo, a little bit, well, none of Oliva, but I guess all that way. Oh,
So-
you're next, sorry.
So I am Melissa Youngbauer, and I am the ADRC supervisor.
Becky Gluen, Trempealeau County Administrator.
Scott Brown, representing the Whitehall area, and I have a cold, so I apologize for my voice, but it is what it is.
I'm Mary Beck from Brookside Apartments in Whitehall.
I'm Phyllis Olson, and I represent the Blair area.
I'm Beth Killian from Arcadia.
Hi, Beth.
Rachel Harmon, volunteer from Pleasantville.
Dawn Waldera, I'm a supervisor from District 11 and a member of this committee.
Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your ongoing loyalty to the ADRC. There's a lot going on with the ADRC. I hear Melissa on the radio quite often. I don't listen to the radio a lot, but every morning when I'm getting ready, it's on, and Melissa's often right there. The open meeting law has been met through the proper requirements. We have an agenda in front of us for April 1st. I'd entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Joan moves.
I'll second.
Okay. The minutes of the February 4th meeting have been handed to us. Some of you might have been able to read them before you got here. Are there any questions about the minutes?
I had been contacted by Colleen Schwerke, who is a member of the council. She was unable to attend today, but she did want to note that she said that she had made the nomination at the last meeting for Jeannie Nutter to be the vice chair, and there was unanimous consent, and that she accepted. So I think there was a bit of an error, I think, in that piece.
Okay.
Does that other people's memory, does that sound right?
It was a long time ago.
I know.
A lot has happened since then.
Very true. Any other corrections?
Does that sound right to you, though?
It does sound
Because
right.
yeah.
I do
yeah,
recall. I
Yeah,
didn't nominate myself, but.
yeah. So,
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I so move.
It's moved and seconded, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
I'm sorry I didn't vote on the agenda, I guess. Why don't we do that? We had a motion to approve and a second on the agenda. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Okay. Opposed, same sign? All right, thank you very much. I think this cold is affecting my brain.
It's all right. I'll help you.
Okay, sounds good. Just throw things at me. All right. 2024 annual report. It's in the packet that Melissa just gave us. So Melissa, go ahead.
Okay, as Scott had said, there is a copy of the 2024 ADRC annual report in your binder. And so it's 7 pages long, and I'm certainly not going to read that, but I did want to just highlight, what I feel are some of our biggest accomplishments over the last year. Just a few things that I wanted to mention. Just to start out, I'm really proud of all of the accomplishments that you are all part of in 2024. The work that the ADRC does, it's just attributed to some really hardworking, very skilled staff. And there's not a lot of us. There's about 8 of us, and then there's about 9 part-time nutrition and transportation staff. And so just to kind of paint the picture, ADRC's, again, we know that they've been in existence for just over 25 years at this point. We were one of the very first. We've talked about that before. It started out where we had some really specific target groups. Our target groups are the aging population and those that are disabled. As time has gone on, we have more services and more programs that we're providing. In our county, and I think if we look at page number 1, it just talks about the shifting population, not only in Trempealeau County, but in the state. So right now, our population of age 65 and over is almost 19% of the population. So that group has grown grown by 32% since 2010. By 2040, those age 60 and over are going to make up nearly 30% of our county's population. So as you can see, that's a pretty dramatic shift. That being said, 27% of our seniors live alone, 7.2% live in poverty, and many of those individuals are facing significant health challenges, including dementia. So that being said, just painting the picture, our needs and the needs of those that we're working with are growing every year, it seems, and we're dealing with much more complex needs than ever before. That being said, we have fewer staff. So in 2024, unfortunately, our dementia care specialist position, we learned that was reduced to a half-time position. At one point, that had been a full-time position. So that's tough because we have the requirements that a dementia care specialist need to do, but yet, so we had a full-time staff, but now we only have half a position. We had also been really fortunate. If you think back, we had received a community health worker grant. That was a 3-year position. That also ended in 2024. So those are 2 key positions that we've had to really adjust. We've had to work hard and try to be as efficient as possible with what we're doing. We're also seeing this scope creep, and so the individuals that they're falling through the cracks, we're not really sure where their needs are to be met. They're maybe not in our core services, but we're doing the best that we can when we have people that are calling and coming in, and they just have needs, and they're not really able to be met with other agencies or other units or departments. So that's kind of just laying the framework here of our report. I'm going to kind of just go through again what I think are some of the most significant pieces of the report. Feel free to jump in with questions as we go. I do hope that at some point, when you're able, you do go through all 7 pages, because I think it's something that you all should be familiar with. If you want to wait till the end of the report, we can go through questions at that point too. So to start, page 1, we did have a really significant transition this year. We moved back to the courthouse. It was a heck of a lot of work, I'm telling you. It was a lot of work, but it was a really good change. Just the supports and just collaborative environment that we have here in this building. I just can't believe that we were actually over there for as long as we were, to be quite
And it's
honest.
so inviting when you walk.
Yeah,
through
I
that
think
little area.
so.
It's really nice.
I think so.
I like it.
I think so. And I'm gonna be honest, in today's day and age, just the security and safety that this building affords, it's really given myself a peace of mind when I'm, responsible for the safety of the staff. And I know I've heard a lot of comments from the staff that they're just saying, really thankful that we are here. So that was a big change. Just want to highlight one of the core services and core staff that we do have are the ADRC specialists. And just looking at the referrals at a glance for the Medicaid-funded and long-term care programs, there's been, over the last 3 years, a 27% increase in that. So last year, there were 356 referrals for our 3 INA specialists. So that's a big jump, and they're feeling it. And again, that's perhaps one of those roles that they're seeing that service creep, and they're seeing the complexity of those cases. Some of the staff that have been here and done that role for 10 years are just saying it's just really significantly changed. And it's not only in Trempealeau County, just wanting to be clear about that. It is just throughout the state, just the needs, it's just a lot more complex. So we also have our elder benefit specialists and the disability benefit specialists, really significant increases with them as well. The EBS, there's been a 28% increase in the number of clients she's been working with. The DBS clients at a glance, that is a little bit deceptive. I'm going to be clear with that, because if you look at 2020, there were only 34 clients that were seen. That was a new program at that time. There were other duties that DBS had. But that is accurate. It is over a 300%, almost a 400% increase in those clients. We're not projecting those numbers are going to go down either, just based on like what we talked about at the beginning of our aging population. Let's see. Wanted to just talk a little bit about our health promotion and wellness. That's another service that is required of ADRC. In 2024, we had 5 evidence-based health promotion programs. So we tried some new things in 2024. We did have a total of 75 individuals that participated. Still really excited and proud of our $100,000 Livable Communities grant that we received from the state of Wisconsin. And then with that, we did create that free accessible community fitness center. Just came from there this morning and went and visited the Strong Bodies class that's going on there. And there were people that were there working out, using the equipment too during the class. So it continues to be something that we're really fortunate to have received and very proud of. I do want to highlight, one of our state consultants did share this feedback regarding our efforts in 2024 with health promotion and disease prevention. She said, "I'm continually impressed with the variety and quantity of programs and initiatives that you are doing in Trempealeau County." So,
Good.
yeah.
To come from the state.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's sweet, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
it is true.
We continue to work as hard as we can with community education and outreach. We now have 2,000 copies, paper copies of our newsletter that we distribute every other month. We have over 1,000 Facebook followers right now, so really proud of that too. Yeah, and a consultant from the state recognized our Facebook page this past year. Also said there is something new almost every day, and the variety of programming is outstanding. Well done. So also wanted to pass that on. We do have several volunteers that are part of this council. And so did definitely want to highlight that in 2024, we had over 60 volunteers, and they contributed and provided over 4,000 hours of community service or volunteer hours. Isn't that amazing? If you do look, I did do a little bit of research. Right now, they estimate that in Wisconsin, each volunteer hour is valued at $31.86. Now, I'm not exactly sure how they come up with that figure, but they do. Each state, they have a national average, and $31.86 is our state average. So if we look at that, that means that the total volunteer monetary impact is $127,000. So, and it feels like, you know, it organizing and scheduling and training and working with that many volunteers, it's a lot. It is a lot. But especially when you look at the monetary impact, because I forget about that. I can see every day the meaning that it has in the work, the day-to-day work we do. And I can see the impact it has on the volunteers. And we all know how important that is, how it benefits individuals. But I think it's really, really meaningful that $127,000 as well. So. Aging plans. We hear a lot about aging plans when we're talking about the ADRC. We successfully wrapped up our 2022-2024 aging plan last year. It's a lot of work. I do want to just say that the state consultant, when we wrapped up that 3-year aging plan, their words were that our work was truly impressive. And so I do want to just say, like, again, that proud of that, that they did recognize that. And completing our 2025-2027 aging plan, it was exhausting, but it was rewarding. And so we are already working on meeting the goals of our current plan, our 3-year plan. And so our focus thus far has been raising public awareness and understanding of the ADRC. And we've been, at this point, we've offered monthly educational presentations and intergenerational activities throughout our communities. It's a lot, so I'm getting down to kind of the end here, but wanted to highlight our nutrition programs. In 2024, we served 22,000 home-delivered meals. Sometimes it does feel like that. That's a lot, and it does feel like that. Becky's that's here does a lot of the work with our home-delivered meals and talks to people that cancel their meals on any given day and for whatever reasons, due to hospitalizations and just different things like that. But it's a daily task in many, many ways. But 22,000 meals, I think it's amazing in this county. And also annual totals for our senior meals, we served 12,000 senior meals last year. Home delivered meals were down just a little bit last year. And it's interesting because our senior meals have been consistent really for the last 4 years. So, do want to just highlight too that we were privileged to receive some regional and state recognition for our nutrition programs last year. Sammy, our nutrition director, was a featured presenter or speaker at the regional nutrition staff and volunteer training. So that's always great to have the state ask us to present on what we're doing because of best practices. And our program was also highlighted in a monthly publication that goes out to the state. Last but not least, transportation services. So in 2024, we had a combined 4,790 rides between all of our transportation programs. So I guess just, yeah, wanting to open it up to whether or not people had any comments or.
Are you going to be able to do I'm looking at you, the cultural dinners this year?
What we have,
Or will we be forbidden to do such things? Sorry to say that, but it scares me.
Okay, well, we,
Because they were very successful.
Yeah, they
And you
were.
had to shut off reservations, I think, for each one.
yes. So we were not able to budget cultural dinners for 2025. However, we've been, we're trying to be creative. And so we did that in March. We did an Irish dinner that was held in Arcadia.
Okay.
But we worked with
Right, I
the
missed
food
that.
provider, and it was just a regular day during the senior meal. And I think I'm looking and I see at least 2 of you that were at that dinner. Yeah. Got really good feedback, and the attendance was higher than what we've been experiencing at recent meals in Arcadia. So
Just
that's
curious.
kind of my.
It was fun. They were fun.
Yes, they were super fun. If we had more funds to budget to those events, I would like to do just additional dinners, but at this point, it doesn't look like that's possible for 2025.
Okay.
Along those same lines, is DOJ going to be diving into ADRC funding and stuff? I mean, I know we don't know what's going to happen day to day because, it's stated it's going to happen, then it doesn't, and maybe 2 weeks from now and all that stuff, so I don't know.
I think that's very, very accurate. We don't have any information right now, any confirmed information. I know that there is a lot of advocacy work being done at the state level, county levels, to continue funding or increase funding, because again, the funding that we have received has in some cases decreased. Otherwise, it's been just very stagnant over many, many years, so.
Yeah, Health and Human Services, I think, as a whole is going to be affected somehow as well, but there's so much need and things are being stripped away.
I just read something, and I don't even want to speak clearly about it because I was in a hurry to get here, but a constant worry about Meals on Wheels being eliminated from the programs, which is astounding to me, but yes, advocacy is what's critical in the coming months for when you look at our population and who we serve and what we've done and what we plan to do in the next 3 years, we can't stop taking care of our seniors.
And that's the thing, if funding, for example, for home-delivered meals doesn't increase, then we will be looking at cutting in some way, and whether that would be cutting days of the week. A lot of counties have waiting lists. We've been so fortunate that we've not had to take those kinds of measures.
And we won't. As long as I'm around. We have a policy, I know Guar made us do a policy for how to establish a waiting list, but years ago, I refused to have our people be on a waiting list for food.
Yeah, and we've
Thank you for
been
that.
really fortunate that, right, we have not had waiting lists, and we've not had to make cuts in our days of week that we deliver, or make any drastic cuts. So,
Just want to point out, under the advisory council, Rachel Herman's listed twice, so you must be really important, Rachel. You get double duty, or, I don't know,
You have a clone.
you volunteer twice as often, or,
that's all me. I will accept, yeah, that's a typo.
Mistake.
better twice than not at all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
very nice report. Yeah.
Thank you.
So this is just part of the Health and Human Services Annual Report, which I have not seen the final copy, so so it probably, that report is probably not 7 pages, is my guess. I'm guessing that some of that was removed, or if every unit had 7 pages, it would be a really long report. So that is my report in its entirety.
When you're doing so much, you have to list it all, and if it was only one page, we'd wonder if you're even
What we were
earning your
doing,
keep here.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so thank
Would
you
not
so
be
much
earning
for.
my keep.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions on the report?
I was just wondering, your 3-year plan, can you bring that to the committee at some point?
Absolutely.
We'd love to see it.
Yes, and just so you know, yes, this committee was part of the creation of the plan, so yes, for sure. It's quite a process, so I hope you are here when we go through that in another 2 years, so.
Beth, do you have a question or concern?
The question, was the report in the packet at the meeting or was it mailed out?
It was in the packet at the meeting, Beth, so I can email that to you.
Actually, I can just come and pick it up because we'll be coming home next week. So in
Okay.
the next couple weeks, I can stop in.
Okay. If you change your mind, let me
Thanks.
know, because I could always email it to you, so,
Okay,
okay,
I'll drive it down
Thanks.
to you.
yeah.
I'll drive it down to you, Beth.
it's only going to be in the 70s today and it's really
Only.
windy.
Bummer.
Yeah.
It's supposed to snow here
Yeah.
tonight.
Well, I like snow, but just wait until after the 15th of April, then stop it.
Then we get hit by taxes. Okay, the next item then is advisory council membership. I've got the information, am I the only one that has this? Okay. We are looking toward adding George Brandt to our members being over 60. I talked to him personally one day, and I think other people have talked to him, and he's interested. And then there is one more position in the 60 and over category. So if any of you know people, I think, well, George is from down around the Trempealeau area. And or Ettrick. Okay, I was thinking he was Trempealeau. But the farther south in the county is what we're looking for. So if any of you know anybody that's over 60, I could qualify in both these areas.
Oh, no, you're not. I keep thinking you're in Galesburg, but
Yep.
So, yeah, I think Jeannie, you had been kind of the one that recruited, like you just said, George and Scott. I think you were part of that too. So when I talked to him, he did indicate he's very much interested. And unfortunately, he was not able to attend today's meeting, so.
Okay.
I think we need to just, I don't know if either of you have anything that you'd want to say about George and his experience and why you feel he would be.
Well, he's old now. And he lives in Ettrick, and he was a county board supervisor for a long time, and this area is very, interesting, and he's concerned about providing services to our, sorry for snapping my pen while I'm on the, so he's very curious and interested, and I think he would be a good addition. I just have to think, I don't know a lot of people in the, we'll have to get to Bridget, she's from that area, right?
I mean, I know a lot of people that are from that area.
Yeah,
Does it really matter?
yeah,
We definitely need to have somebody from the Trumpealeau area.
I think it's valuable if we can.
Right.
to be,
Just to have that representation.
Right.
From throughout the county, especially, before too long, we're gonna need to be making some decisions regarding our meal sites and home-delivered meal providers, and so I think that's important.
So the criteria is Trempealeau area and over 60.
yep.
Might be a couple down there.
don't know any old people yet.
No, I do. I know a lot of old people. Just none that lives in that area that comes to mind right away.
I can't even think of anybody in that area.
I see Rita Halverson is still on the list, and I think she's only been able to make like one meeting. Saw her Friday just before Arlene Stuvey's funeral, and didn't even think to ask her, I guess. I was sort of thinking maybe she wasn't a part of this anymore, but she was getting around pretty darn good. Came out of the elevator and was buzzing around and up and down in the church, so.
So, Scott, I feel like you were the one that had suggested her. I don't know her, and like you said, I think she's only been to 1 or 2 meetings. Would you feel comfortable having that conversation with her? If you look at our bylaws, she certainly is not meeting the requirement of attending meetings regularly.
Yep.
If that's something you'd feel more comfortable with me doing, I talked to her maybe 2 months ago, shortly before that February meeting, and, she voiced still interest in coming, but.
Yeah, I know she's had a lot of physical challenges, and that is the reason why she hasn't been able to come. And, that's a total understandable situation and forgivable, and
Yeah.
I think she would have a lot of good input. She's a very intelligent woman, and, definitely would represent the physical disability category that she's
Yeah.
signed up for, so. All right, well,
Does Galesville count as that area, or does it need to be over?
I think Galesville or Trempealeau.
Okay.
Either.
Because I'm gonna be in Galesville Thursday.
Okay.
I'll put some feelers out for someone.
Okay. And I feel then we need to make a decision regarding George then, so that he would be going to Human Services, and then he would go to the full board for approval.
Just need to make a motion to,
Yeah.
right, yep, please.
I motion to do something with George Brandt. Add him to the council.
What are you gonna do?
There you go.
I'll second.
Okay, Dawn moved and Jeannie seconded to approve from our council, George Brandt as being a member of the over 60 category. And then we can send it on to Health and Human Services. Any questions about that? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Okay, thank you very much. We can bring George forward at our next Health and Human Services meeting. Sounds good. So, number 8, Marty Schreiber event, June 18th.
So in your Marty Schreiber event. Does anybody know who Marty Schreiber is? Okay, he's a former governor of the state of Wisconsin, and he was a caregiver for his wife, Elaine. So his book, he's written a book, and it's called My Two Elaines, and he speaks in communities about his role as a caregiver to his wife Elaine, and about dementia or Alzheimer's. And so it's a wonderful book. I have not heard him speak, but many, including Jay Hine, our director, has heard him speak. Everybody just really enjoys hearing him. I have read the book, and the takeaways from the book are very much that you need to get help. Dementia is a progressive disease, and his message to people is, looking back, he wishes he would have gotten help at the beginning. He waited too long, and it just, was just really hard. He wishes he would have gotten help sooner. And so we are so excited to have him join us on June 18th. And so we are going to, we're going to have a day of it. We're going to have a senior dinner that's going to be held. This whole event is going to be up at the school in Whitehall. So we're going to have a senior dinner. We're going to have a resource fair around the same time and before the dinner. So people are going to be able to come and hear about services that would be able to help individuals that are caregivers or individuals that are experiencing or dementia or Alzheimer's. And then we're going to have Marty speak. So,
So kind.
yeah.
That's probably why you waited so long to get.
Yeah, help. And then we're going to put together a panel of some local considered experts that are going to be able to just do a kind of a question and answer following the presentation. So I think that's going to be really helpful as well. And then Marty's going to have, he's going to do a book signing. So it's going to be, I think, a really meaningful event. We're really excited about it.
Presentation be in the auditorium?
Auditorium.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
Is there, this is great. Makes me think, is there an opportunity to wrap in advanced care planning? Maybe by cooperating or partnering with the hospital at all into
We've
that?
thought about it. I'm not sure if that would get to be too much on that day.
Okay. I just see the advocacy for it for people with dementia, right? Like, so I can draw the line there. And it is definitely so important.
Do you, what are your thoughts, Dawn? I mean, I'm certainly open to it, and I have not made, we have not made a final decision. That had been on the table of all the things that we might offer that day, so I'm open to it. What do you think?
I'm not so sure that we can't really offer the service, right, that day, but could we at least really advocate and hand out information about how to get it done and the importance of it?
For sure.
That would be, I guess, where I would go with it.
I like that. I like that
Do we
idea.
need a reservation for this?
You will need a reservation for the dinner, but not for the event, not listening to him speak. Yeah, I think at a minimum, Dawn, I think because the ADRC will also have just information about our transportation program, for example. So at a minimum, we can have the forms there and provide some education, but.
I don't know if there would be anyone from the hospital that could partner and just, so that like is a manned booth or whatever for people with questions or what have you, but I would suggest maybe reaching out to the social workers at the hospital. What day of the week is, it's on a Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, just put them in the calendar.
I mean, at a minimum, having things available for people to grab is great.
Absolutely, yeah.
But ideally, having somebody available to say, hey, did you know, or, you know, that type of thing would be especially awesome.
I've had minimal conversation with the healthcare center at this point. So Nancy Christensen, who is one of the social workers out there, she is interested in possibly working with us to do some advanced directive presentations and that type of thing. Right now, the ADRC, our staff, our corp counsel has not, or has advised us against actually signing documents, which I can understand that because there'd be liability in doing that. So up to this point, we have always partnered with other agencies or organizations to actually do the witnessing of those documents. So we just do the education.
Right, right, which I think is fine. Could I just, via an email, mention it to the social workers at the hospital and
Absolutely.
see if there's interest?
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. And we are, we've gotten 30 books at this point, and so we are going to be providing all of the libraries in our county with the books. And so there is not a fee for him to actually come and speak. We do have to pay him mileage and because it is I believe he lives in Madison or Milwaukee, I don't remember which one, but so he is going to be staying somewhere, and so we will pay for his lodging. And we have to buy 30 books, so we've already done that. But I think that's a small price to pay for, I think, for what this event, the awareness it'll bring.
Will he be bringing more books? You mentioned signing books, so I'm
And
sure
he
he will sell them
yes,
that day.
Yes, I think the cost of the books is $12.
It's reasonable.
Reasonable, yeah. And this flyer we had, we're getting this printed, so I had ordered 100 flyers to be printed, and one of our drivers picked the flyers up yesterday and so proudly brought them to me, and I looked at the flyers and they were printed, they had printed another 100 copies of our Wine Women Dementia event from last fall.
Maybe that means you need to do that again because
Maybe.
it was so popular.
Maybe, but so they had they acknowledged then, I contacted them yesterday and they acknowledged it was their error in our printing 100 of these, but it would have been great because you all could have taken some and brought them to your communities so stay tuned. We will have flyers soon.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be-
It's going to be really, I think, a
Did
great
you
event.
look sad?
No, I don't feel it's that sad. Honestly, I felt, it mainly is about the caregiving aspect. I would have liked to have, I would have liked to have heard a little bit more about their relationship, which would have been more of the sad piece, but it is more focused on the caregiving, I feel.
Right, good.
And it's a very easy read. I read it in probably 2 hours. So it's kind of nice that it's, I think it's just really friendly towards anyone. So, exciting.
Good endorsement. Thank you. Any other questions on Governor Marty Schreiber?
But yeah, feel free to, and I could reach out to them too, Dawn. So either way, wouldn't hurt for you to put a bug in their ear too. Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, number 9, Nutrition Council update.
Okay. We met on March 27th at Strum before the dinner. The Cupid crew went over great, according to Sammy. They delivered all 125 roses, and she said they had gotten several cards from the recipients thanking them for the flowers. And she said all the people were totally surprised and very happy.
I heard a lot of really positive
Did
comments about
you?
that, too.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very nice.
So that was great.
That's cool.
And then like tomorrow, there's going to be the senior it's at the library. What is going to be on? It's on scamming, isn't it?
It's on scamming.
Scamming
So
tomorrow at-
senior, yep.
Yeah, you got
So,
it at the
yeah, there
library in
is
your
a
folder.
Yep,
flyer.
okay.
Yep, so that's tomorrow. It was,
Already,
yeah, that's already tomorrow.
plus,
tomorrow.
yep, plus the volunteer banquet at Sweet Temptations. And then in May, we're going to be hosting a themed bingo at each of our dining sites. They kind of want you to dress in some Western thing, whether you have hats or shirts or whatever. And the food will be like burgers and potato salad and that, like summer stuff. And then the bingo, of course. And they're going to do it like Strum and Osseo in the northern part. I don't know about the southern part. She didn't mention. But anyway, that's that. And then the Marty Schreiber thing in June. And then back in, what was it? What month? What we had refer a friend. There was 4 people that turned in friend cards, and each person plus the friend received an ADRC T-shirt. And Arcadia's been going well for because they have their choices now, and that seems to have gone over well. Then she gave the report of all the meal sites, the delivered meal sites, plus the congregate ones. But I'm not going to do those, because they're in your report. Other than that, I don't have anything else. It was a brief meeting. Thank you.
Sounds like another happening group. Thank you, Rachel. Any questions for Rachel?
You brought up the thing tomorrow about fraud with Medicare, but there's a thing going around right now on your cell phone about paying a toll.
Yeah.
And they just are relentless with me. They keep sending me that I owe a toll from Illinois, and I don't know how they knew I ever was in Illinois, but it's a scam, and to just delete it and don't click on anything, but they're relentless. So, ugh. I know, and I almost clicked on this when I was in Montana, and my niece said, no, it's not. And I said, well, I was just in Illinois. She's like, it's not real.
My telephone is ringing off the hook.
Yeah. There's also a new
As
scam
soon as
from
I
RCU.
hang up, it's
From
telephone ringing
RCU.
again, and I said,
Oh, yeah.
I don't want that. I says,
Yep.
I just hang up, I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Can't do anything to, I mean, it's telephone, so I have to.
Bye, Rachel.
Hi.
But I just hang up.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
What is the RCU one? I forget. I haven't gotten that one yet.
It was just that, something about someone charged to your account and it's different type of amounts, and they want you to click on a link.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, fellas.
So you just, when I got it right away, I just thought, I'll just call RCU. Wonder what's going on here, and they said, yes, that is a new scam. And they're gonna say someone charged on your account, click on that link. She says, we don't do that.
Okay.
There isn't enough stress. Okay, ADRC Supervisor Report. I bet that's you, Melissa.
It is. Just to go off of what Rachel had just mentioned, May is Older Americans Month, and that is why we are planning the special events in May. So the 2025 theme is Flip the Script on Aging, and it encourages us to rethink how we perceive and talk about aging. So we are planning Western hoedowns in 6 of our communities. So yes, like what Rachel said, People are encouraged to wear Western attire. We're going to have a Western photo booth. We're going to have several ADRC staff at the events, so that we're also going to be just informing people about our programs and services, the Western meal, and then we're going to sponsor a bingo. So just stay tuned for the days and locations, but we want to spread it throughout the county. So, but I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. The flyers, yes, we talked about senior Medicare patrol. We also want to make you aware of a personal safety and empowerment training. This is going to be, I think, really, really interesting and helpful. So participants can learn about simple self-defense techniques, situational awareness, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's kind of different, because I have not, we've not done anything like this in the past. So I think that's going to be.
Is this going to be geared toward like simple self-defense techniques
Yes.
for people with a cane and a walk? Like, how physically mobile or able do you have to be to implement these, I wonder?
I think it's really designed for anybody. So really people of any age.
Okay, so not a focus on like the older person who might have some.
I think it would pertain, like some of the techniques, and I know
Sure.
when it talks about even like safety devices, Sandy is going to have some just even inexpensive devices that anybody can use. And I had just seen something on Facebook about an elderly person that was just attacked in a parking lot again recently. So it's just that kind of situational awareness that maybe, a lot of us have heard before. Just where to park in a parking lot, what to look out for when you're leaving the store and going to your car, et cetera. So I think it's just going to be valuable information really for anybody. Volunteer banquet, again, that was just mentioned, April 2nd in Whitehall. So I think a lot of you are going to be there. You are. You're signed up, Mary.
I'm at the spot.
Yes. I think we have 35 registered, so that's good. So that's going to be fun. And just also wanted to just mention, the state had recently began a marketing and outreach campaign for ADRCs using ARPA dollars. And so there was a subtle change with the ADRC logo. So if you look at the binders or the portfolios, can you tell the difference? It's pretty, it's hard to tell. It really is. It had an ampersand before, and now it has written out an and. And the actual, the font of the Aging and Disability Resource Center, that's just it's a little bit different. They had worked with some marketing firms, and at one point there were three different, I believe there were three different logos. So, and the other two were very, very different, and we could vote, the public could even vote on what you wanted the ADRC logo to look like. And and I know a lot of ADRCs had advocated that this is what people recognize.
Right, you can't completely change the
Some of
logo.
the one looked very much like what I would think was a hospital or ambulance. It had a cross on it, and it just, so I am glad that they decided to keep the logo that was similar. But we received, so Trempealeau County received $19,000 to update our local marketing and outreach materials. So that's how we paid for these, and we paid for the sticky notes and the little notebooks, notepads, the pens. So we got some cool things. We, even outside of our office, there's a tabletop sign. We have a large sign. So we bought some, things like the tablecloths to go out and do our events. So it's very nice to have these materials, but then just a lot of these promo items as well were purchased with those funds. The state also just recently began the radio, TV, social media ads, and billboards in March. So I don't know if, I've been seeing them, I've been hearing them. Have any of you heard that? So those are it's not local, those are state ads. But it's interesting, they did not do them in Milwaukee. They did them elsewhere throughout the state, but not Milwaukee, because they are very busy. They're very overwhelmed. Yes.
For sure.
So they don't need the marketing. Yeah. That's what we were told.
That's probably true.
I actually see the TV thing at noon every night.
Okay, I see it every night at 5:30, or it's 5 o'clock news, yes, yeah.
I like the telephone now. They don't have all this long thing. All they do is rings and then somebody.
So that's
picks-
her, that's
Yeah.
who.
Somebody picks it. I like
Yeah.
that.
I
That's
do
different.
too. And that is actually, looking at our contract with the state, they want us to be friendly towards our consumers. So that's great to hear that you're saying, Mary, that we're,
I like it, it's different. It was, I couldn't, I thought I draw the wrong number, so I hung up and I did it again, and then she said, don't do that.
yeah, the call trees, it can be confusing, and Becky
Because
does an
I
excellent job.
Waiting for the whole bunch of things, and then all of a sudden, hello. Yeah, it's nice, it's good.
But I will say, Becky does do an excellent job. So, but thanks for that feedback, Mary.
Thank you. I like doing something like that.
Yeah. I think that's all I have. I think, we start to lose people because they're heading to meals. That's what those two are heading to, is the senior meals, so.
They might be heading to Grace Lutheran Church for the election dinner, yeah.
That could be too.
I'm supposed to be going out there, but I think I'm not going, I'm fading
you're-
fast here. And I go home and go to bed after I drop Mary off. Open comments,
I have a comment.
yes.
I just would like us to think about this. I was just at a community forum for Western Technical College for our area, and there were a good number of employers from our area, a variety of employers. And without doubt, every single one of them was talking about the need for more people to work for them, and that they can't find people. On the other side of that, remember, I've been a life coach for many years. I have many people coming back to me to talk to me, even though when I'm retired. And I see a lot of people that are over 60 who are saying, I really would like to work a little, but I'm afraid to go out there because, first of all, it's different now how to apply, and nobody wants to hire you unless you work 20 or 40 hours a week, and I can't. And I feel with the continuing escalating of costs right now, that we have a lot of older people who are doing okay, but they are looking for some extra income. Some of the employers at that particular meeting spoke up and said that, yes, we hire part-time people at 10 hours a week. They're the best workers we have. The lady that runs the Independence campus said, I couldn't run this campus without the 4 women that are all over 60-something. She says they take marvelous care of this campus. A third employer spoke up and said, those older workers that I use just a little are my most dedicated workers. But then it came back that, well, how do we get to these people? How do we know who wants to work? On the other hand, my coaching clients are coming back saying, I don't know how to get to work. Some of the stuff they look at are scams. They're taking money from them. So I'm just wondering if there isn't something here for us to do for older workers. We're needing to do our mission right now. This is great. But we have people who are not doing well, not so lack of health, and have that type of thing that they can't work. But we have many workers in this county who are older, who want to work, especially now with the rising costs. But there's no connect here. Is there some way that we could research this to look at it? I'm not saying right now, but I'm thinking this is something that is going to be critical for a good number of our older people, being able to work just a little bit to augment their income. Plus, it gives them a purpose. It gives them a thing to do each week. So many I talk to, they just kind of go from day to day, and they are declining. And so I'm asking if there's some way that we could, at some point, maybe it's a volunteer group that would go in and say, these are the openings, talk to the employers and say, here are the openings for older workers from this and this and this, and here's who you call. And a lot of them aren't online, but they're good workers. I mean, I know this is a kind of a far out there thing I'm asking about, but I think it's real for a lot of people who won't even admit it. Thank you for listening to me.
No,
Is it Rachel, right? Rachel? No,
I'm Joan.
Joan, you're Joan,
Yes.
yeah, I'm sorry, it's Joan. I think that's a great suggestion, and I wonder about working with our economic development and tourism person, and we, could maybe get the information from businesses first.
I think that would be excellent.
And work how we can connect the two.
Right. And there are so many people who aren't thinking they need to work, but are saying, I'm not busy enough, and the cost in the grocery store is just awful. I have to really watch what I buy now, and it's the first time in their lives they've had to do that. But I think if we approach it not as, well, you're hurting, so we need a job. No, it's you have skills.
Right.
And you're looking for something to do, and the economy is not helping you. We need your skilled brain. And a lot of these people have multiple degrees that I'm working with, and they don't have anything.
Well, and I know people get nervous too about working and how it affects their social security, and they're scared that they'll lose it, and they don't understand that you can.
Right, and after
Yeah.
a certain age, you can work as much as you
Right,
want.
like right now, I could work as much as I want, but and that, it's educating people about that too.
Right.
Yeah,
The
and
other
even-
thing is, I'm very, very much a volunteer myself, and I believe in the older people volunteering, giving back. So people don't realize that older people could work. They don't always have to volunteer everything that they
Right.
do.
If you go into a McDonald's, you see teenagers and
Yeah.
seniors.
Yes,
and
that's
Nobody in between.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I would agree with just the value with older workers. It was just a few years ago, people here, I think, some that had been on the council at that time can remember, we could not fill our driving positions. Now we have 9 part-time positions, and they're all individuals over 60. So I think that's just, I think that's how we met our need, and we have drivers, some of them drive as few as 6-8 hours a week.
Thanks, Dawn.
Some are closer to 30 hours a week, but it just varies, but it's great. It's working out really, really well.
Right. I've talked to some people from other states, and they said it's gotten to the point where the businesses know which positions they want for older workers, and they actually ask, how many hours a week do you want to work? I said, they ask you? She said, oh, yeah. And they try to fit that, because they come out the best both ways. So it's just something, I think we need to go there. I think this ADRC is a leader you've done so many things in Trumpealeau County as a leader. I think this is the next thing to lead the state in. I don't know that others aren't doing part-time workers already a lot, but I think the person over 60 needs somebody they can trust to show them, here's where you could go, here's how it can work. And I think the few people I've talked to have gone out there and been burned. So I think this is a way for us, again, to be that trusted agency for the older person.
The senior meal programs have had a lot of presentations over the years. Like Ben Gums from TCC comes over and he talks to us old people about technology, and there have been all kinds of different presentations. This sounds like a perfect opportunity to go around to the different settings. I don't know if it would work very well at Sweet Temptations. There's always so much activity going on over there, but, Strum and Arcadia and I don't know that Boondocks would work very well.
I think we also need to reach out to our technical college. I've spoken with Roger Stanford, the president, and told him, there's people who want to work and there's employers but maybe the technical school could be kind of a help, because for certain jobs, you maybe need to do something a little different for work behavior in this day and age than you did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Joan, we need to have these conversations. And so I think there's not just one agency. I think we need to do a little collaboration here.
That sounds like a wonderful thing, yes. Keep on us about it.
Okay, I will. Yeah. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Other open comments? Beth, do you have anything to comment on?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. We know you're good, but do you have anything to comment on?
Nope, I'm good. I don't have any comments.
Okay. Well, if we don't have any other business, next meeting, June 3rd, 10:30, right in this spot, June 3rd, yeah. 1st of April seems like a way into the year already. So we've come to the end of our agenda, and I think we can just adjourn.